Hey guys, Martin here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so yesterday we got the teaser posted on the Dokkan Twitter and other social media that seems to very much point towards Gomah being the Part 2 LR, which makes a lot of sense, obviously, with the mini Super Saiyan 4 Goku being the release for the Part 1 Dokkan Fest. This is one of those things that it's easy to make predictions and stuff as we go. I know Daima has been speculated for like every big celebration, like basically after the anniversary, but I feel like this does play very well into a prediction that I've been making for a while now, essentially, that the anniversary would include Adult Super Saiyan 4 Daima Goku and Adult Super Saiyan 3 Daima Vegeta, because whilst Gomah is the final boss of Daima and he is like the big bad guy, my general consensus, I mean, I obviously don't know what everyone thinks, but the general consensus that I seem to get is that not a lot of people are huge fans of Gomah, either as a character or, you know, design wise or anything like that, especially with the whole sort of weird, I don't want to say lazy, but like the fact that he basically just looks like Jiren. Like he looks like a cross between Jiren and like a Jester, which very weird design, right? Giving him the whole like body and boots and gloves and stuff, so he just kind of looks like a Pride Trooper, is very, very strange. And he doesn't have much of a character, like he's nothing particularly crazy. He's no like Frieza or, you know, but either way, he's a character that, as the final boss of Daima, deserves to be in the game and have like an LR, but I feel like this is kind of the perfect slot for him as a yellow coin LR part 2, because you got to remember that we've had characters like Cell Max drop as a yellow coin LR and still be like very, very good, right? Cell Max was like top 3 or like easily top 5 like in the game when he came out. So just because this guy's a yellow coin LR doesn't necessarily mean that he's not going to be good. And I think this is like the perfect place for him to drop, especially because with the anniversary on the horizon and like everything else coming out before the end of the year, it's probably a comfortable spot for this guy to drop for people who do want to skip and save for the anniversary. Although, of course, bearing in mind how good Cell Max was, there is the potential that this guy releases and is really, really good, but obviously we will have to wait and see. So for the purposes of this video, just going to speculate a little bit about this guy, what we could expect to see in terms of his like leader skill, some other potential abilities that he could have, and yeah, stuff like that, links even, just speculating, because I believe that we should get the details for him tweeted out tomorrow. We've been following this kind of schedule for the last few weeks now with some of these releases where basically I think we should see, this is all going by UK time, right? So it's like it'll be Tuesday morning. I think it's like midnight PST, so it's still technically like Tuesday for most people, unless you're further behind time zone wise than PST. Tuesday morning Twitter details for this guy, so like tomorrow morning Twitter details and the animations, like the card art and everything. Then Wednesday morning, the data download, and then Thursday, the banner comes out, right? So by this time tomorrow, we should already know what this guy does. But there are actually 2 Gomahs listed on Dokkan Info because of the him being a boss in like the story event. So we have the third eye Gomah. There is no version of like the mini one, but Gomah, once he's already gotten the third eye and been powered up, but that is different from the giant Gomah, who obviously is considerably bigger and bulkier. And the big difference between those is the couple of extra categories. So you can see here, Third Eye Gomah, Dragon Ball Seekers, Terrifying Conquerors, Final Trump Card, Battle of Fate, Demonic Power, and Successors. The Giant Gomah gains access to Accelerated Battle and Full Power, because obviously that is him at his full power, and a lot of these characters, especially like the Super Saiyan 4s, get Accelerated Battle. So I mean, yeah, increasing his power and his speed, I guess, so that puts him on Accelerated Battle as well. Now I don't think necessarily either of those would be good category leads for him. I mean, I guess we could jump into the leader skill speculation before anything else. So I mentioned this in the video yesterday when we talked about the hint, but Demonic Power obviously is like seemingly one of those go-to, right? Like, oh yeah, this should be his leader skill, right? Demonic Power. But it's interesting because he's releasing as the Part 2 LR for Part 2 LR for Mini Goku, who already leads Demonic Power. But it's not like they haven't done that kind of thing before, right? I think in the video I mentioned the fact that we got a bunch of Pure Saiyan leaders in a row. There's like the anniversary, the 9th anniversary had like 2 superheroes leaders. It's not like something that they have never done before. And in fact, now that I think about it, what's going to be the easiest way to find that? Have they put is the STR baby on the wiki now for Terrifying Conquerors? No. Because I don't know, unfortunately, with the wiki not being updated as much as it used to be. Because if we go to, where's Corroded Body of Mind? Let's find a Corroded Body of Mind. Because the Part 2 LR Gohan, yeah, of course they're not listed on here. The Part 2 LR Gohan and Goten, they lead, is it Corroded Body of Mind and Joined Forces, and then Baby was like Battle of Fate, and is it Corroded Body of Mind? Yeah, it was Corroded Body of Mind. So basically Baby and his Part 2 LR both had Corroded Body of Mind as part of their leader skill. So there's no reason why Gomah can't have Demonic Power as one of his leads. Because the thing with Demonic Power is you've obviously got characters like Glorio that can be fit into any Demonic Power team, and he's just there to provide a bunch of support. But you've got characters like the heroes Demigra specifically. He might be one of the only ones, to be fair. I think Rebel might have a similar thing, but like there's Demonic Power characters that want to be run with extreme allies, right? So for a Demonic Power setup, having the Mini Goku isn't necessarily the way you want to go, right? Mini Goku, the support Piccolo, the different Gohans and stuff like that. You can very easily make a very strong super class Demonic Power team. But in terms of extreme class Demonic Power and making a full extreme class team, Slug is obviously a bit outdated at this point. So I think one of his leader skills, because remember, if he's a yellow coin LR, he's going to have 200% categories for his lead. I think Demonic Power being one of them does make a lot of sense, even with the Goku having released as a Demonic Power lead for Part 1. The next one that I think would be a good option to be the second one is probably Terrifying Conquerors. Terrifying Conquerors is one of these categories that fits in a ton of these extreme class characters. We've got characters like the Golden Frieza that recently Easy Aid. Obviously the baby characters are on here. Cooler, you know, STR, LR Final Form Cooler and the Physical Metal Cooler should hopefully get their Easy Aid potentially during the 11th anniversary. Like, Terrifying Conquerors has a lot of interesting characters to be able to offer to the setup. Obviously the STR baby will be on there as well. So Terrifying Conquerors I think is a really good one. In terms of links, I think it's very, very likely that Gomah has big bad bosses, right? Because the Dokkan info page for the bosses shows their categories as we saw, but doesn't show their links. So I do think it's very, very likely that he has big bad bosses. So obviously having some of these characters like the Coolers on the team, Bojacks, like if we get a new Bojack at some point, or the Int Bojack gets his Super Easy A, could be a really good extreme support unit. Terrifying Conquerors is definitely a solid option for a second leader skill for Gomah. Now, another one that I think would be quite interesting, I don't know if I think it's better than Terrifying Conquerors, but another one that would be quite interesting is Successors, right? Because Gomah is on the Successors category. When we look at the extreme lineup for Successors, we've got Frieza, we've got Demon King Piccolo, we've got Zamasu, which is the interesting one. Zamasu and Rose are on here. So by giving Gomah Successors, he gets access to characters like the STR Rose, who's still very good, would be very solid on that team, especially with another Big Bad Bosses partner. Tech Fusion Zamasu obviously will get his Easy A. Probably a while from now, actually, to be fair, because he's the worldwide after the cooler units, so probably not until like the 12th anniversary or something like that. So I guess that doesn't really matter too much. But the STR Rose, even the AGL Rose to a certain extent, like for the support. But if we get any other sort of like new Zamasu, obviously new Freezers, there's a decent option for extreme characters. Aos is on there as well, who's an interesting support character. She's not on Demonic Power, is she? Because she's the other like Supreme Kai of Time. Yeah, so that would put her on the team, which would be kind of interesting. She's a good support unit with like built-in dodge. But yeah, any future Rose or Zamasu or Frieza or Demon King Piccolo, who are all solid options for things that we could see in the future, would all be on the successors category. I mean, even the Vegetas to a certain extent. Obviously, only the older ones up to a certain point are extreme, and then the rest are super class. But Gomah doesn't necessarily have to have anything in his passive restricting him to extreme class. So on his own team, having things like Demonic Power gives him access to all the Piccolos, Successors gives him access to all the Vegetas, and of course like the reversible exchange Goku and Vegetas. So that is a pretty good one as well. I honestly think if he had Demonic Power and Successors, I think that would be pretty cool. The ones that I don't think are as great for him in terms of his leader skill, Dragon Ball Seekers. This is a category that is very largely super class based, which isn't necessarily the end of the world. Again, if his passive doesn't necessarily require extreme allies, but that will obviously hurt him with like having big bad bosses partners and stuff like that. Because when you look at the extreme characters, we don't have a lot of great options here. Giant Ape Vegeta can still be good, especially if Gomah ends up being some like crazy defensive support unit. He could still be pretty decent, but like everybody else here, not particularly good. Prime Battle Frieza could get a Super Easy A sometime soon. Any celebration that's kind of relevant, he could get his Super Easy A, because the Prime Battle Goku Super Easy A ages ago. So I feel like it's probably going to be some kind of Wicked Bloodline celebration, because we're still waiting for the physical Angel Frieza. But this guy's Super Easy A could essentially drop with any celebration that is even somewhat relevant. But again, going back to Successors, all the Friezas are on there. So even then, that's just a much better leader skill. I don't think you want his team to be heavily super class weighted. So I don't think Dragon Ball Seekers is a particularly good option for him. And then we have Battle of Fate. Now, Battle of Fate is an interesting one because it has a lot of really good like top tier LRs on it. And the fact that Gomah is on Battle of Fate, obviously the mini Daima Goku, I'm assuming is on there as well, right? Because once they start fighting Gomah, it just basically becomes like the Battle of Fate, right? So obviously, regardless of whether the mini one is on it or not, the adult one would absolutely be on it. Yeah, the mini one is. I just had to double check. But the adult one will absolutely be on there as well, which also means that the adult Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta should also be on there. So as we get those extra pieces for like the Daima stuff, they will end up being on the team if they're on Battle of Fate, because obviously they're not on Demonic Power. Well, actually, of course, adult Super Saiyan 4 Goku will be, because the mini one is. But yeah, that would give him access to them. Battle of Fate is one of those categories where like all of the good units are the LRs, basically. Like if you look at the recently released like TURs for Battle of Fate, I know the wiki's not super updated either, to be fair, because I think Baby is on here, right? But it's not really about the TURs, it's about the LRs. And Battle of Fate would give him access to characters again like Zamasu and Rose, but also Omega, who of course, you know, we use Omega a lot nowadays, like with his team, and his team is really good. There's not been a lot of teams that have come out since his release where, you know, he's the go-to, like, oh yeah, we'll put him on this team as well. Apart from Baby, I guess. But even then, Baby is just better on Omega's team with like double Omega. But Omega on a new extreme team for him to be run on would still obviously be very good, what with his defensive support to all allies for 2 turns. So Battle of Fate would kind of be an interesting one, but as you can see, you're really only looking at this very small pool of LRs that can then be added to the team in order for, you know, great effect. So I think personally, when it comes to the 2 leader skills, I feel like Demonic Power is the absolute #1 choice. Terrifying Conquerors or Successors, I think, is the best option for the other one. Terrifying Conquerors gives a lot more variation with a bunch of the different extreme class characters and covers a lot of the future releases as well. But I actually do really like the idea of Successors with all the Goku Blacks and Zamasus, all the Freezers. Like, that gives a lot of options for that team, as well as some of the super class ones as well. I mean, if it was Successors and Terrifying Conquerors, that I don't think that would necessarily be the end of the world, but I do think Demonic Power is probably like the #1 go-to. And then in terms of links for Gomah, obviously we already mentioned Big Bad Bosses. I feel like he's going to end up with links like Master of Magic, right? Because that is very relevant. I'm trying to remember what that does. Mechikabra has it, right? Mechikabra is still a solid unit as well on the right team, even though he's an older unit. Yeah, Master of Magic is attack 15% and all enemies defense minus 10%. Big bad bosses. Would he have Brainiacs? Probably not. Fear and Faith is another common extreme one and is a good key link for him to share with other characters. He could have Brutal Beatdown, Nightmare as well potentially. Obviously Fierce Battle, because I imagine he'll awaken with mini Daima Goku medals along with... Actually, what other medals would they even use? I guess they could use some of the Daima story event medals and then the Goku ones, and then because he still uses Dokkan Fest medals, he would still get Fierce Battle. But it's not like there's a bunch of different relevant Dokkan events for him to get medals from. I don't think his link set is necessarily super important, depending on what his kit actually does. So one of the things I said as well is talking about like the potential for different abilities for him. One thing that somebody mentioned in the chat during the stream, which I think is a really good idea, is because he has the third eye, having a scouter as part of his kit I think makes a huge amount of sense. And then obviously as the fight went on, considering what his main abilities were and everything, him having some kind of regeneration, whether it's like end of turn healing, or whether it's like a revival, because I mean I guess revival doesn't quite fit, because with someone like Boo, him getting like blown up and then coming back together makes sense. Cell has the regeneration from like the Warp Kamehameha where he gets his top half like obliterated, but Gomah doesn't really ever get like the massive damage that then regenerates, right? He just kind of keeps regenerating like very quickly, so that feels like the kind of him having like big end of turn healing kind of thing. Also an active skill potential for like a big heal, giving him extra defense for the turn, maybe even a target ability, because obviously at one point like everybody's just trying to jump him and not having a huge amount of success. So he has the potential for some really interesting stuff, because again, remember, I go back to Cell Max, like this guy could easily be just this random yellow coin LR that comes out mid-November and is like, you know, top 5 in the game or something. I mean, it's harder to be, like when I say Cell Max was arguably top 3, but almost certainly top 5. It's harder to be in that position now because of how good like the Anniversary and the GDC units are. But this guy could easily come out as one of the best units in the game. And of course that would be on their part, not good for us, but smart for them, like to lure people into wanting to summon and use their Anniversary funds. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. What do you think the best 2 categories for Gomah's leader skill are? What do you think he should do as a unit? If you have ideas on how you would design his kit or anything like that, do let me know that down below in the comment section as well. And then, yeah, hopefully, as I say, tomorrow we should see his details and his animations and everything get tweeted out. So we'll look forward to those. And of course, I will make a video going over it as soon as they drop, so keep an eye out for those. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ninja. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.